What's going on?
We're back. I know you missed us.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks.
It has been a rough couple weeks. But we're here with you guys now, so it's almost so much better now. We're still on a roll of season 4 of doing haunted owners. Haunted locations. Speaking with the owners of those locations.
We have our guest this week, plus a little something special because they have a video that we'd like to share with you guys.
Yes. And if you guys ever watched the show Paranormal Lockdown, they were on season 3, I think it was, with Katrina and Nick Groff. Here's our guest this week. Wildwood Sanitarium.
I know you guys might have heard that name before.
Yes.
Where have we heard that name before?
We've heard that name before when we did an interview with the awesome Bree. Shout out to Bree. I know Bree and our guest right now are really good friends.
So let's go ahead and bring on our guest, Brooke, from the Wildwood Sanitarium. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I
how are
don't
you?
know how to pronounce your last name.
It's okay. It's like Crystal, but with a P. So Crystal.
Gotcha.
Got
I
it.
didn't want to mess that up. So.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us.
I know we said we have a little video for the viewers to watch, but do you want to explain who you are, where you're located, how you got into this crazy sanatorium?
Yeah, so obviously my name is Brooke, and I'm the owner of the Wildwood Sanitarium. So I have owned the building for 2 years now, and I purchased the building from my mom, and she bought it in 2017. So it's been in the family for almost 7 years now. Actually in July, it'll be 7 years.
Nice.
It just kind of, it's not like we were ever looking for a location. It definitely wasn't something we thought we were ever going to do, but here we are.
Right.
We were more of like, we liked doing the investigations. We liked leading groups and stuff like that. But it just all kind of was meant to be and happened how it was supposed to. So here we are.
That's awesome.
It's good that you guys kept it within your family.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Instead of going to a different stranger.
So a little background about this. So it's upstate New York, correct?
Yeah, so we're Western New York. So we're about an hour south of Buffalo, about an hour and a half from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Got ya. So a little wooded area of the East Coast, I guess you'd say.
Right.
This building was built in 1900 by J.H. Henderson, And it was purchased in 1903, became a sanatorium in 1906. It operated till 1923. When you first bought this building, did you guys know it was a sanatorium? Did they advertise it as a sanatorium?
So when my mom purchased the building, we knew what it was, but it wasn't like an advertised thing or anything. So actually, this guy bought it in the early 2000s, with a dream to fix up the location, and he raised his children there. And it was always his dream to fix up the building and everything. Well, he got to retirement age, and it just it didn't really happen. Um, so yeah, people lived there and everything. It was known a tiny bit in the town, so there was a couple like newspaper articles in the early 2000s, just like remembering the history of the town and
Right.
little stuff like that. But it wasn't super known that it was a hospital.
Got ya. So let's play this video real quick, and then we'll get into the pictures and have a conversation.
Okay.
So that was pretty much. Was that when it turned into the tuberculosis clinic?
Yeah, so it turned into the tuberculosis clinic, like in the 30s, and that time when they were switching like all private hospitals over to that. So they were actually forced by the town. It wasn't by choice to become a tuberculosis hospital.
Right.
So like before that, they only took patients with non-contagious diseases, so like addiction, mental illness, that kind of thing.
Right. I'm probably going to botch this whole thing, but it was an osteopathic. I can't even say
Osteopathic?
it. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, osteopathic hospital. So they did natural treatment. So they did like bone stretching, where they like stretch out your joints and your muscles. There was a bathhouse in the basement, and that was supposed to be like their main treatments. And then they also did light bath therapy, which would have been on the second floor, and that's kind of like a tanning bed. When you see like old pictures of it and stuff, it looks a lot like a tanning bed.
Gotcha.
Got ya. So I just want to show a couple of these pictures real quick. So this is like an original picture of the house when it was back in the 1900s, correct?
Yeah, so this picture we got from the Historical Society in Salmaca. And this is like the original picture they put out to kind of advertise that they were open for business.
Got ya. So that little clip I showed you, was that like a little commercial today? Back, so just explaining what the hospital was?
Yeah, it was just a fun little clip, yeah. Just kind of advertising the house and stuff. We have a couple more too, like on YouTube and everything.
Got ya. So when you first bought the house,
That was thunder.
oh, I was wondering what that was. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was thunder. Yeah.
I was like, oh no, everybody freeze. So when you first bought the place, I was watching the episode on Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Roth and Katrina. You guys pretty much got activity as soon as you guys bought the property, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we so my mom especially, but both of us are mediums.
Okay.
Especially like at that time is when we were really like doing readings for the public and we don't really do that anymore, but we used to at that point. So we kind of went in the house and did a tour and everything, and you could feel the energy and stuff there. So yeah, and stuff did start happening like right away. So
I like that one.
Yeah, it's
yeah, I took
all.
that picture while opening for a group.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't blame you. The more and more I talk to you guys, to the property owners of these locations, I'm so jealous. I want my own haunted house.
It is a really cool job, but like a lot of people don't realize how much really goes into it. I mean, we literally work 24/7. I have people that'll call me at 2 a.m. asking about tours, and I mean it's really 24/7 job.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I always tell people like my favorite part of owning the locations is all the people that you get to meet. I
right.
love meeting all the different groups and hearing like why they started a group and why they're investigating, and that's always
Right.
been my favorite part.
Do you give tours right before you let your people do their investigations?
Yeah, so so when you check in, so you get the house from 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. So when you guys check in at 7 p.m., you're greeted by either myself or my husband usually, in case unless we're like at a con or something, an event during the weekends, but usually it's
Right.
near my husband. And we give you like a full history tour. But then you get some groups that don't want them at all either. But usually, yeah, they want the history tour, and we give it to them and show them around the building and that kind of thing.
Nice. How big is the building?
So the building is actually like 5 full floors. So there's like a full basement, a full attic, and then 3 floors.
Wow.
Wow. So, from what I remember on the show, I don't know if it's still the same, but it's from you were telling Nick that the higher you go up, the more activity happens. Is that
It's
still
still
true?
true. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I just had a group message me that stayed this past weekend, and she said that she like was trying to do a little bit of medium stuff and everything, but she was just getting physically sick from being up there and everything. So, oh yeah, definitely the 3rd floor really affects people. Your breathing gets super heavy. You can feel really sick, that kind of thing. But you do get a lot of activity in the basement too. But I would definitely say like the basement and the 3rd floor is the most active.
Right.
Did something specific happen on the 3rd floor to make it like that?
So the 3rd floor, when we were looking into all these old sanitariums and stuff, so a lot of them were religious, and we believe that Wildwood was a religious sanatorium because Dr. Henderson that started it, he was super religious, like a big part of his church, ran the men's club and all that. So they believe that putting the most sickest patients up on the highest floor is what would be best, because then they can pass easily or they can receive light and healing from God or whatever. So that's what they believe. So the worst sick patients, the people that really needed the most help, would have been up on that 3rd floor.
Right. Who were we talking? We were talking to somebody else. They put them. They put them like the worst of the worst on the 3rd floor, so other residents wouldn't hear them screaming or in pain or anything. Do you think that's like the same thing?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine that's pretty much how it was.
Wow. So, is when you first bought the property, do you stay there and investigate it? Are you an investigator also, or you just own the property?
Oh yeah, no, we investigate there all the time. So my husband too, I see he's in the chat, but
Yeah.
he'll go over there too and just live stream for a couple hours, or we run a lot of the public investigations ourselves. So
Okay.
we'll be up in there with our equipment and everything else too, and Like I was telling you, we were talking a little bit earlier about like doing restorations and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll put out equipment while we're cleaning or, you know, fixing something up or something too. So, oh yeah, we definitely investigate.
So before you pick the wallpaper, pick the plaster, do you ask the ghost before, do you like this one or this one? Or
So it sounds super crazy, but we do actually.
Yeah.
So like, well, you know, you guys talked to Bree and everything. So when she stayed for the week, she had like a yes no box going, and anytime before she would hang something up, she'd ask, "Is this okay?" Or it would just automatically say like no or you know yes or whatever.
Yeah.
So we try to respect them. Like the spirits there are super big on respect. So that's something that's really important to us is we really try to respect their space and everything.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've tried to send this to 10 friends. I don't know. All of the chats are open.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully you can come and see it. If not, anybody can go and watch this again on YouTube after. So when your mom bought the sanatorium, were you guys doing restorations on that when she owned it, or you kind of like upped the restoration when you bought it?
So it's been about the same. We've just been focusing on getting more groups in so that we can do bigger projects and stuff.
Right.
And that's something that we've been working on. I don't know if Bree discussed like our next big project that we want to work on is doing the bathroom on the first floor. And redoing all that and everything. And we want to kind of take it back to like the 1920s and do those little tiny like black and white tiles and the pedestal sink and all that. So, and I mean, my mom definitely did a lot of restoration too. So like during her time and the start of when we owned it, we completely redid the roof, which is crazy because this roof has never been replaced. It had 13 layers of shingles.
Oh.
Holy
13, yeah. Never been replaced. So that's why it took us so long because you demo a spot and it's like a whole dumpster load of stuff. I mean, taking all that off, and then we had to replace the beams in the inside because they all got wet, obviously. So the spiders don't get us. That's funny. But yeah, so we redid all those beams and everything. She had to replace the hot water tanks. So there used to be 2 hot water tanks in the basement to supply the whole house.
Right.
And one of them let go on the basement floor one year. So that was kind of an emergency spend thing. And so now there's a tankless hot water tank. So unlimited hot water there.
Hi, baby. Sorry. That's my little Sophie.
Aw. Yeah, and so like the room that we used to call the moat room. So when we bought it, you probably saw in Paranormal Lockdown, there was like that pool of water on the floor.
Yeah.
And we had to take like buckets and throw it out the window.
Yeah.
So that room, we completely redid that whole room. And now we just have to paint it. It's all, replastered and, re-drywalled and stuff. So.
Right.
Because it was just a huge, I mean, there was no ceiling or anything in that spot. That was the worst spot on the roof. We've done tons of stuff over the years, so.
Oh, I love you too. So I'm going to go through these pictures for the restoration and just go chat with them. So is this part of the entrance or?
Yeah, that's the living room.
Okay. And then this is them doing the roof.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So they kind of just put new roof on top of new roof over and over?
Yeah. It literally, the bottom layer was still the original cedar shingles. And we saved a bunch of them too. And that's actually what our spirit box is made out of from Mr. Jeff Fenn. So it's pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to go through a couple pictures before I ask a couple questions.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is so all the money that goes from all the investigation is to go back to restoring this sanatorium.
Mhm.
Are you guys anywhere close to restoring it, or you still have a lot of work to do?
Ooh.
Yeah, it'll be an ongoing project for a long time.
Yeah.
Right now, like we're focusing on, like one of my next big focuses too is fixing all the water damage.
Yeah.
So a lot of spots, just like you saw in the pictures, the drywall messed up and everything. We have that planned out too. We've been starting to slowly buy materials and doing all that too.
So is this all original wood?
Yeah, yep. It's all the original like plaster and lath. You can see it in the pictures, the little
Yeah,
stripes and everything.
that's crazy.
Yep.
So are you registered as a national like historic? What's it?
Location.
A historic location?
So we aren't because with doing that, which is great. I mean, it's a great thing. But they're very strict on how you fix up the house and what
Yeah.
materials you use and that kind of thing. So that's just not the route that we wanted to go through. And
Got you.
also it's harder because so we're actually on a Native American reservation and
Oh,
New York State hates them, so it's hard for New York State to do anything with us
yeah.
because where the building is located.
That was going to be my next question. Did you have to have, if you were, I know a lot of people that are on that list, that you have to go through the state to restore anything.
Right,
But
right.
You said it's on Native American land. Do you feel like that makes the activity more? Do you feel like it makes it stronger?
I definitely think it like has a small part in it, definitely. Because even if you go on the land, like you can feel the energy there. It's so funny. Like we have friends and people that literally like will just pull up and they're walking barefoot in our grass because they say like the land and a house and everything just really grounds them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're like super close to the river too because the reservation is, I believe it's like 5 or 10 miles from the river. So we're like super close to the river too, that, you know, is really special to the Native Americans and everything. Oh yeah, they're super spiritual people, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so actually like we have a tree that needs to be taken down pretty soon on the property, and we have to have a Native American come and bless the tree so that we can cut it down. So
Right.
that's something I'm working on too, is getting someone to come over and do all that so we can cut it down.
So, you know, so if you have to unearth anything, it doesn't
Right.
ramp up activity after you broke soil.
Right.
Which, so some of the common activity that you get there, if you've seen the show, obviously poltergeist activity,
Right.
moving objects, phantom voices, shadow figures. Have you seen all this with your own eyes while you're in the property?
Oh yeah, all the time. And it's so funny too because like some of the crazy stuff will happen when you're just like cleaning or you know whatever, not even having investigators there, and so it's just always, and of course the camera's never rolling.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
little stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's kind of them just like, yeah, just going along their day. Yeah.
Right.
So I like asking this question during this season. We did Ashmore Estates, and Robin was talking about how he gets more activity during the day than he does at night.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing for you guys, or is it kind of even?
It's kind of even, but we do have a certain month of the year that activity is insane. And it's not October, so it's actually November. November is super active, and I don't understand it. But yeah, like the month of November is always super crazy, and we hear like people say wild stories. But yeah, I would say it's definitely different activity, like it's different activity kind of during the day than at night too. Like you get a lot of, you get a lot of intelligent responses all the time.
Right.
But especially like during the day, it'll be more like noises or things being, pushed over, moved or whatever. But then like towards the afternoon and early nighttime is when you'll get like a lot of like intelligent responses and conversation and that kind of thing.
Right.
That's what I've noticed personally.
Do you feel it's more residual or intelligent there?
I think it's a little bit of both, yeah. Because you definitely get, so like sometimes we'll hear religious stuff come over the spirit box and things like that, and I feel like some of that is residual. And then we get this thing too where it'll be like moans and groans or like coughing, something like that. And like my husband actually brought up this theory is that's probably like patients, they were getting treatment and
Right.
some of them we don't even know could have been nonverbal or something like that too. So it's a
Right.
way to communicate.
Or their condition had just gotten so worse to where they couldn't talk anymore.
Right, exactly.
They couldn't move. They couldn't do anything anymore. So that's the only thing they could have done was grunt or moan or
cry.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Speaking of the patients, during your restoration, have you found anything from the days when it was a sanatorium?
So we have a cabinet up on the second floor, and it's actually full of stuff that we have found in the walls, floorboards, ceilings. Oh yeah, that stuff too we have. So that all was found underneath the front porch, and then there's like a little crawl space in the basement, and that's where all that stuff was found. We found in the doll room inside the wall where we were repairing. There was this giant hole in the wall, and people that came in the early days, they remember the pigeons. The pigeons used to live in the doll room because there was a giant hole in the wall and in the roof there. And we found a prayer card in that wall, and on the back of it there was writing that was like hymns or something. It was songs. Pretty old, and the handwriting and everything, you could tell it was really old.
Nice.
Wow.
Now, I love when people find old stuff in the walls, like little pictures.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do without damaging anything.
Yeah.
But if I owned a property like that from 1900s, oh yeah, I'm definitely looking for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, that's the first thing I'm doing. All right, scavenger hunt, let's go.
Right. Yeah, it's been pretty cool finding different stuff throughout the years. So we had this like hunch, this feeling that in this staircase underneath it on the first floor, we kept feeling like something was under there. So we actually went through the closet and went into the back wall and opened it up, and it was full of mirrors, like old bathroom mirrors. And then on the floor, there was this little coin purse. And I think we have a picture of it on our Facebook, but I can't remember. And it's this little Native American coin purse that's like hand beaded. Yeah. And there was a prayer card in there. And I'm pretty sure it was for St. Michael or St. Francis, one of those. It slipped inside of it. So that was pretty wild to find, obviously. Yeah, so it is all the little stuff that fits in the case. We have a glass display case on the second floor for it.
That's awesome. So when you found all of this, when you unearthed everything and brought it back into the house, did it create more activity or?
Yeah, I think we definitely got some stuff off that stuff, definitely. I think the time, honestly, though, that they got really upset about it is someone stole a few things off that table in the basement. That's why all the little stuff we put in a case. Yeah. Because we had some things go missing, and they were pretty upset about that. I do remember them like saying stuff on the spirit box and everything that they were upset about it.
Oh no, that's my number one rule. Even if I go into abandoned places that are just been closed forever,
we don't take
as much as I want to take it. No, that's not my stuff.
That's asking for bad juju.
we went into an undisclosed location in Baltimore, and there was like an old school, like old school radio, like churn dial
Oh,
radio.
that's
Oh, I want it so bad. I can't do it. I just had to walk
right,
away. Like I didn't see that.
right.
So when you go and do this, is there certain spots in the house that you don't go by yourself?
Um, Not really for me. Like I'm okay because I'm there all the time though. Like I'll
Right.
go open for a group and I'll go clean by myself and everything. I think so the basement definitely creeps me out a little bit though. Because they constantly talk about me in the basement and that freaks me out a little bit. Like tons of
Everybody's
people
afraid of
have
the
gotten so they've gotten like tons of EVPs with my name on it, and they talk about me in the spirit box and everything in the basement. So the basement is a little freaky. I'm like, but I still go down there and clean and everything for the groups. But
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of part of owning a location, keeping it
yeah,
clean.
Yeah. Well, there's like certain parts, like Tanya was talking about the old College Hill Hospital. There are certain parts that she just won't go.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I just like asking that because we all know it's a haunted location.
You never know.
And can you explain one drastic thing that's happened to you since you owned it?
So like I always tell people about my first experience at Wildwood because it's still like it's crazy to me, and it's kind of like what started this whole journey for me. And I'm like, okay, like we really need to save this place, and this is a real thing, and this is like really important. So when we bought the location, the previous owners left like everything there. I mean, every room had a bed with sheets on it and clothes in the dressers and everything. I mean, they left everything. So I was upstairs in what's now Tommy's room. It was full of like little kid dressers and it was full of clothing. So we were taking the clothes out, putting them in bags to donate them and everything. So I was sitting there taking the clothes out, putting them in bags and stuff, and you just get that feeling like I'm being watched. Someone's watching.
Oh yeah.
So I turn to my left and look because that's where the door is, and there's a man standing there, and he's super tall. He has like a shorter top hat on and a suit, and he just smiled at me like a little smirk, and then turned around and started whistling and walked away. And I'm like,
Wow.
what the hell just happened? And of course, at this time, I'm only like, I think I was like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
I was young. So I'm like, okay, this is weird and I don't like this. But I looked to see like if I just like caught something or like what it was. And
Right.
that room, it's like that room where the water damage and stuff was and the pool was. And then it's like a long hallway and it goes to the doll room and the seance room and all that. So I looked on there and there was no one there. So then I like ran to my mom and told her and everything because it just really freaked me out.
Right.
But at that point, like we didn't know who that was. We didn't know what Dr. Henderson looked like at all. We knew nothing at that point really. Besides, like the previous owners had done a little bit of research and they had some pamphlets and some pictures and articles about the house.
Right.
So we had no idea what Dr. Henderson looked like. And sure enough, we had his picture sent to us by his college, and that's exactly who I saw. And in that picture, he's wearing this suit, and his hair is all slicked back, and you can tell like he's a tall guy and everything. And
Right.
so at that point, I'm just like, okay, there really is stuff here, and like this is gonna be a really interesting experience, and it has been all these years.
Yeah. Do you still see Mr. Henderson once in a while, or?
We do, yeah, every once in a while. Especially normally he hangs out on the second floor. That's usually where we find that he kind of hangs out if you do get him on equipment and stuff. And he's usually pretty serious. Like he's super huge on respect. You can ask Bree about that one. I don't know if she told you, but the first time she came to Wildwood, she was was it the first time? I think it was the first time she came. She had a like 1920s nurse's costume on, and they did not like that.
Yeah.
That Dr. Henderson did not like that. Um,
So it was kind of like mimicking the nurses back then.
right, exactly, yeah. But then the next time she came, she apologized and everything, and now they're okay. So, that's good. But yeah, we definitely get the doctors and the staff, and every once in a while, and it's always a really cool experience when you get to talk to them. So,
Right. Now, around what time they convert it into apartments?
in the 70s. So, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we believe it was apartments. I definitely know it started around the 70s because I've actually had a couple people tell me they lived there in the 70s.
Wow.
And they said it was like a party house in Salmaca. Like it was the hot place to go to party and whatever.
Right.
And it was funny, this one guy, this happens all the time. So we'll be like in the yard doing work or something, and you see a car pull around a couple times all nice and slow and stuff. And then they'll get the courage to stop and talk to you. But he said he lived on the first floor in the 70s. I think he said 72, I'm pretty sure. And he said he was partying in that front bedroom that's on the first floor, and he fell out of the window that's there. Like, just the stories and stuff of hearing that people live there is so cool to me.
Well, like I know in the intro of the Paranormal Lockdown, when it was apartments, the spirits like kind of gave them shit and like pushed them out, kind of. Mm-hmm. So the spirits did not like that part, I'm sure.
No, so actually the neighbor that lives across the street from the sanitarium, she's lived in her house for a long time. But she said her best friend used to live on the third floor. And she was a hairdresser, so she'd come home late, and all of her furniture would be rearranged. Like weird stuff, like her chairs would be on top of her table and that kind of stuff. And it really freaked her out, so she ended up moving.
Yeah. It definitely sounds like a poltergeist movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, we have the famous mirror that fell in Paranormal Lockdown.
Yeah.
And that's actually still at Wildwood. We still have that. Actually, but right now, though, it is sent off, and it's in Lockport, New York, right by Buffalo. And we're having it put in like a shadow box.
That's awesome.
Because so recently a group was there, and I think it was only him and his girlfriend. They're a younger investigative team. They haven't been to a ton of places and everything, and she sat down on the floor next to the mirror and was sitting there for a few minutes and everything. And in this video you just see the mirror come like crashing down towards her, and the whole lamp went with it. And this poor girl, like the look on her face, she was terrified. And she was screaming in the video, like, because she got really freaked out. So we decided to put it in a shadow box so it doesn't do that again.
Wow. So obviously you said you're going to use that as a shadow box. All the mirrors that you found under the stairs, are you going to use the actual mirrors into like the bathrooms or incorporate them somehow?
So we have them like around the house and everything already. And they'll probably be kept and put on walls and stuff like that. Yeah.
Got you. Now, do you think that they create a portal, or is it kind of just whatever's in the house?
Yeah, I don't know if they just like did it to like get rid of them and not have to like throw them away because of broken glass and everything, or what that kind of was. It was just weird though to open that little room up and there's all these mirrors back there, and they were like, there was some laying down. They were, all leaned up against the wall, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because if you're not a paranormal investigator, you're not into all this. A big thing about paranormal and mirrors, mirrors are
Right.
doorways into our world.
So that kind of makes me wonder if somebody figured out that the mirrors are portals and they put them all away.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Coming through.
Now, before you bought it and everything, was it abandoned at some time? Was it kind of just sitting there falling apart?
Or has it always had someone owning it?
I think it's pretty much always had someone there. It might have been abandoned for like maybe a few years at a time or something like that. Like I said, when we bought it, the man's daughter still lived there. She lived on the first floor. So I mean, I think it's always had someone in there. Or if they didn't, it was only sat there for like a few years.
Got you. Now, do you believe anything was conjured in that house?
I don't really feel like that, but we do. So a lot of mediums do tell us there is a couple of portals in the house. They say that there's one in the basement and one on the third floor. There's like this weird little room off the doctor's office that we have on the third floor. That if you look out the window, you can see the cemetery. So there's one house behind Wildwood, and then there's a cemetery. So you can see the cemetery and stuff from that window, but a lot of mediums say that there's a portal there, and then in the basement where they did the bath treatments and stuff. So.
Wow. So you think it's just the spirits coming from the cemetery, coming to check out the house and then leaving, or?
Oh yeah, we definitely get some of that because you have the common names, but then you have names you're like, oh wait, who are you?
Right.
You definitely get some. We call them travelers. We're like, oh yeah, he's just traveling through, like
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, do every activity that you get living in this house, as long as you have, you keep a log of people that you interact with that you know are in the house?
So we actually have a guest book that people write all of their experiences in, and just kind of what they experienced, how everything went, and they can sign it. When my mom first opened it, she was writing down like all the some of the first interactions because she always wanted to write a book. That's something my mom's always wanted to do. Which we plan on doing that at some point. Everything's just so chaotic with everyday life, and then plus the Sanitarium on top of that and everything. But we'll get there at some point. But yeah, definitely like that. So our guest book is really cool. Just flipping through and seeing what people have experienced, and I always love one. Like there's a little drawing of feet, and it says, "I saw feet." And it said something about they were sleeping. I believe it was up on the third floor or something, and they saw like little ghost feet, and like that one always cracks me up when I see it. It's pretty cool to see what people write in the book.
Yeah. So go back to the paranormal lockdown with Nick and Katrina. How did that come along? Did they contact you about the sanatorium, or did you reach out to them?
So what actually happened is we're super close friends with Dan that owns the Hinsdale house.
Okay.
They were filming at the Hinsdale house.
Yeah.
And they kind of got talking and everything, and they're like, and Dan told them there's this new place opening up, and they only owned it a few months, and there's tons of activity going on there, so you guys should go there too. So they did. We're super thankful for Dan. I mean, he definitely helped Wildwood get its start because he already had Hinsdale established and everything.
Right.
So he helped my mom with the bookings and everything when she first purchased the building. So that was kind of him, yeah.
Got ya. That's pretty cool. Now I have a couple pictures that I wanted to go over with you with some activity that either you or investigators. That's kind of what I wanted to know. We'll show a couple of these pictures and then we'll have a conversation about it.
Okay.
So it says, from what I can see, that there's a figure in the window right here.
Yeah, I think so. I think my mom took this picture, and she talks about it a lot, where she caught like a man's figure in that window, and that's happened quite a few times. That groups will get pictures in the windows or pictures in the house.
Got it. Now, do you
Oh, nice.
when you? She looked at her phone. Now she can see. Um, do you kind of just? I know me being an investigator, and if there's claims of people walking by and seeing people in windows, do you kind of just sit there and look at windows to see if you can find something, or?
Me personally, no. It's usually like, a lot of times we'll just be like taking pictures of the outside, and then we'll see like the window or see something weird, and we're like, oh, wait a second,
Right.
that's a little weird
That's
looking.
supposed to be there.
But no, I mean, like, so there's this one window to, so it's on the staircase going from the second floor to the third floor, that I've always felt like a woman stands there and looks out the window all the time. And when you're like doing yard work and stuff, I always like find myself looking to that window because I
Yeah.
feel like someone's just there. And
Right.
I always felt like that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the
Yeah.
question was that I couldn't spit out the right way.
That's
But so you anywhere you go in the house, do you feel watched or feel like somebody's right behind you the whole
Oh,
time?
100%. Oh, yeah.
Like as soon as you walk in, like a kid's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh yeah, you definitely feel stuff. And like, you know how when you were a kid and you get that weird feeling that someone's following you behind the stairs, so you like
Yeah.
run a little faster and turn the light off quick?
Yeah.
I still do that sometimes. Like I feel like someone's like with me cleaning or whatever. So I'll just like, hurry up.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she's back.
Welcome back.
Hi. So you running up the stairs really quick.
Yeah.
So is there? Oh, that kind of threw me off. We'll go to the next picture. We'll have a conversation about this one.
Oh, it's so hard to see.
I know. It looks like there's a face.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Do you know where this is or where it's located?
I'm not exactly sure about that one. It looks like again, it's like a. Well, it looks like the border is white, so that would have to be a window.
Got you. Now, I just found these pictures on Facebook, people. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's okay.
Yeah. Now, do you see pictures like this, or like, do you see shadow figures or mist like this with your own eyes?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've had people see like shadow figures and that kind of thing. So we actually have this really crazy experience. I don't know if you found that picture or not. But so you and I research. They're research team based. He's based in Albany, and he's kind of like our resident team. Not so much this year because they've been crazy busy and stuff. But he did an experiment at our first Paracon that we had. So it was 2 years ago now in September. And he has this experiment where oh yeah. So he has this experiment where he does like a laser and then with a fog machine, and it said like it's just this theory on a way that ghosts can present themselves or become, you can see them with your eyes.
Right.
And in this picture, he so I think it was like 12 people that all witnessed this happen, and then they're like, oh my god, we should take a picture. So his brother passed away a few years ago, and you can full on see his brother standing in this picture. You can see, so his brother always wore a lab coat while investigating. So you can see his lab coat, you can see his glasses, you can see his hair, all that. And it's insane. And then you look at a picture, of him in life, and like they look exactly alike.
Wow.
That blew my mind, and I was so mad because I left an hour before that happened because I was running around at the event, so I was like so exhausted at that point. So I left, and then like an hour later they got that. But all of them that was there witnessed it. They saw it all happen. So that was pretty crazy.
Sorry, you were talking and our lights flickered.
That's
Our TV going.
Oh, was it the TV?
Yeah.
Okay. All I saw was something flicker. I was like, oh. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about when we were watching this, or watching Paranormal Lockdown, so when you have activity going on in the house, there's a street light outside that flickers.
Yep.
Is that still happening today?
Oh yeah, that still happens. Yep.
Did the city come out and like see what's wrong with it, or any kind of test? See?
Yeah, I don't think we ever like made a complaint about it and stuff, but it doesn't happen all the time. And I think it's definitely less frequent now than what it was before, but it definitely still does it every once in a while. You can see that street light really good from the seance room on the second floor, and I've definitely seen it happen probably like 2 or 3 times within the past couple of years.
Wow. Now, is it kind of like a coincidence?
Maybe. I mean, it totally could be. Oh yeah.
So is that?
It's just like a weird thing. Yeah, it's just like a weird thing. Like you're like, oh, okay, like that's a little weird. Okay.
Yeah. Got ya. So we have one more picture, and then we'll get into the question of the week.
Okay.
I wasn't really sure what this is. It kind of looks like a just light coming off of the windows.
Yeah, that's what that looks like.
Yeah.
That could be something that my mom posted. But yeah, it looks like a reflection to me.
Yeah. Well, never mind.
That's part of investigating, though, is debunking things, and you're like, I don't know,
Yeah. Well, I kind of looked at all the pictures. I was like, oh, cool. I was going through them real quick, and I was like, oh, it's circled. It's got to be something.
Right.
But now that I brought the picture up, yeah, it definitely looks like a reflection off the wall or something.
Right.
Yeah,
after this, I'll definitely send you the pictures of Jeremy that I was talking about, so you guys can see that.
Absolutely. I want to see that for sure. So if anybody's watching this on YouTube, I know we're streaming on Facebook and everything. Please go give it a like, a share, and comment. We do this, guys, for you. We need you guys. We need you guys to show some love. So here's all of our links. And we're going to start doing it. I've been slacking. All of our interviews are going to be put on Spotify also.
We're working on it.
So if you guys want to go to Spotify, if you guys can't watch it on Facebook or YouTube while you're driving and you want to listen to my beautiful voice, go over to Spotify and you can listen to the whole interview. Or if you are listening on Spotify and you want to see all these pictures of this cool house,
come like us on YouTube.
Go on YouTube, hit a like, hit that subscribe.
But now we have our question of the week.
We do have a question of the week.
For anybody who is not familiar with our little podcast, we like to ask you guys a little question of the week, make it interesting, and get your feedback on it. So this week, hey, I want to press the button. This week, I'm pressing the button.
You got to hit the right one.
Do you think spiritual activity ramps up during restoration projects? And you might be the perfect person to ask.
What do you think?
I think it does.
Yeah.
You're messing with their stuff, man.
Yeah, I feel like when people restore something that they're so used to, like properties or anything, like you remove a wall that they're not used to having gone, they're still going to walk through that wall. They're still going to go the path that they did when they were alive.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of, you don't want some stranger walking in your house and tearing
Ripping
down
up
your
your
walls
boards.
and be like, what are you doing, man?
So what do you think?
We'll take your intake on it and then we'll get into the chats. So what do you think about that, bro?
Yeah, so I definitely think it's pretty true, especially like other locations too, because nothing's communicated to the spirits like, hey, we're gonna do this. And like
Right.
you said, oh, they randomly there's just a wall ripped down, or
Yeah.
something drastically has changed like that. I feel like stuff like that, oh yeah, definitely is gonna amp up some spirits. Hopefully, it's not too bad and they're not too upset.
Right.
But like, so a lot of stuff that we do at Wildwood, like I was saying earlier, is we really try to let them know what we're doing, or get some kind of like, okay, like, oh, you guys like this, or
Yeah.
what do you think? And it sounds crazy, I know, but we try to be really respectful, because it was their home first, and we're just kind of the caretakers that keep it going for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't have.
Any answer for our question?
I can't either. Sorry, but I have it. If so, I can't send them.
You sent it on Messenger.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Zach said he sent him a messenger.
yeah. I will definitely check those out. We have a couple things that I want to promote. So if you go on Facebook, Wildwood Restoration Project, do you have like a GoFundMe or anything to like help raise money?
We don't currently. Usually, we only do that like if we have some like really big project going on. Obviously, like we did stuff like that for the roof and everything.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of our money just comes from the groups and the tours. That's really the best way to support the house. And then we do like little stuff like donations for drinks and snacks and that kind of stuff.
Right.
We have T-shirts that people can purchase. That money helps too. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys
And
have
this is
merch?
their website also.
Do you guys have hats? Because I know he's gonna want one.
Yeah. We have. We don't. I don't know if I have hats on there yet. I've been working on it and like updating it and stuff, because before like we didn't have any merch online. So I've been working on that. But I know there's like shirts and sweaters, and I think I have like a couple like Christmas ornaments, and but I definitely do need to do hats. That's been something on my list to do. Yeah, that's really cool.
I got this one. I have an old hospital on College Hill hat.
Oh, cool.
I have the historic morgue that we've
That's
done an
awesome.
interview with. So we're big supporters on Para-Unity and
Awesome,
helping
yeah.
you guys restore your locations, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Right. Oh yeah, we're the same way. Yeah. No, we're the same way, definitely. Like other locations, like I always tell the owners, like if you want, I'll tell you anything you want to know, and help you, or whatever.
Absolutely.
No, investigators, like I always am willing to work with someone. Like, if you only got a couple people and you want to come during the week, I'm always willing to work with people. Like I want everyone to have the opportunity to have a safe place to investigate. That's a huge part of it for me. Is I just, because a lot of places by us, they get new owners and then they close down, and
Yeah.
there's another location gone. So it's just something like important to me to have a consistent spot where people can go, you can be safe, and all that. So it's super important to us.
Got ya. Now you guys own Wildwood. Do you guys have plans on buying another haunted location, or you kind of just hard on?
Maybe like way down the road. People ask me that often. Yeah, maybe like way down the road, but I definitely want to get Wildwood where I want it first.
Yeah,
Obviously. So yeah, that's something maybe down the road. I would be open to it, but yeah, not in the next 5 years or anything. So
yeah. Now, before we go and everything, is there any
Any upcoming
events
events?
or anything that you would like to promote?
yeah, so we host a Paracon every year for suicide prevention. All of the money is donated to all of that. So that's October 12th, and we have special guests and vendors and readers and food and all that fun stuff. Bree is one of our special guests, so you'll see her
That's
there.
awesome.
And then we have a lot of like Midwest special guests. Actually, it's funny, but yeah, so a lot of special guests coming from the Midwest. We'll have Lauren doing a crystal pod class. We'll have a few lectures throughout the day, that kind of thing. And then obviously just like our Facebook page is where we upload all of our public investigations, any events that we have going on. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
Maybe one day we can come to and be part of your Paracon.
Come.
That'd be awesome. I've never actually been to New York. I lived in Pennsylvania. That's about as high as I've gone on the East Coast.
Okay.
I've never really been to New York. I want to. I've heard there's a lot of haunted places up there.
There are.
Oh yeah, so it's funny, like our area within just like an hour of us has so many locations. I mean, obviously the Hinsdale house, we work super closely with Dan. So Dan is like family to us. We actually met him when we first started investigating. So I've known him like more than half my life.
Yeah.
And he helped out with Wildwood and everything. So obviously, like we work closely with them. There's Sweet Home Estate, which is about an hour from us as well. There's tons of places up in Buffalo. Like you definitely have a good mix of different types of locations, like right within an hour or two from each other.
That's awesome. Well, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to greatly appreciate you coming and speaking with us.
Yes, thank you so much for your
If you
time.
send me the link for that Paracon, I will put it on our Underworld page for you guys.
Awesome! Yeah.
If you guys have any links that you need us to share, we'll share anything you need for that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.
You've also started making flyers for some places. So if you need a flyer made, just let us know.
I'm getting into advertisement videos, so if you need any advertisement or know anybody that needs them, send them my way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll keep that in mind. I'm always looking for like people because I'm so picky. Like when I personally do things, and I just like beat myself up. So I like event flyers and stuff. I always ask someone else to make them because if I make them myself, I pick myself too much. So.
So we want to make a little announcement before we go.
Oh yeah, this is new.
Hopefully, we will have our own shirts coming soon. Maybe.
Awesome.
As you've said before, I've kind of worked on this design for months and months, and I've done it again and again.
Right.
And I think we're finally at the place where we want to be. So we will definitely make that announcement once we have those shirts.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get one for us.
Absolutely. But I want to greatly appreciate you coming to speak with us. Hopefully we can do this again and go further into detail of, I want to go into like each floor and see what happens on each floor.
And then hopefully next time I can be there too and, be on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. A walkthrough through Wildwood. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. We can make that happen. But I want to greatly appreciate you and welcome to the Underworld family now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for anybody who's local in Florida, we are also doing house calls.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, you have a great night.
Thank
and
you so
we'll
much.
definitely talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good night.
Nope. One more thing. Remember, guys, always stay creepy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.